Can we get rid of Duke Tobin instead? Is that an option? Can we get rid of Duke Tobin? I choose that option. Anyway, so some Bengals fans on Twitter were going back and forth about who they want to keep, T. Higgins or Trey Henderickson. And first response is, sorry, but I'm keeping Trey. I love T, but his best ability is availability. T tends to miss 5 games every year, it seems. Without Trey, how much worse would the defense be? I understand how much people want to keep Trey over T. I don't like this reason. Should we have not paid Burrow and let him walk? As far as availability is concerned, Burrow has missed 2 times more games due to injury than T. And then T. Higgins' mother responded with facts. All right, so here's the thing, right? Wide receiver is a lot easier to get than pass rusher. End of story. That's pretty much the end of story there. At the end of the day, other than Trey's the only one on our defense that can do the damn job correctly. You know, and that's just that's the biggest issue. Okay, no, let me not say that. No, let me not say that. BJ Hill also does his job correctly. But everyone else seems to have been lacking throughout this whole entire season. And so starting off right away, Trey's value, especially when it comes to how we operate, meaning we cannot get a pass rusher to save our lives right now. Receiver is just not. You can draft a receiver. You can sign a receiver, and they can be very effective for you, even if they're not the best receiver ever in the draft. Yoshi has been very effective for us, and he was a 6th-round pick. You know, Jermaine Burton, when we actually start utilizing him, will be very effective for us, and he's a 3rd-round pick. Obviously, the issue with Chuck Sizzle is we have just made him a kick and punt returner. I think that more goes down to his injury issues as overall wise. I don't think they could think he could stay healthy on the field because every time, I mean, he's been hurt a lot since, you know, these 2 years now. But so I think that's kind of more of that. They just like, hey, listen, you're injured if you play offense, so might as well just play defense. Or may well just play special teams, and that's it. He's also pretty good at punt returner. Has a punt return and a kick return now. But it's just easier to find wide receiver. That's just how it works. Like, again, you can find receivers in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, and they could be pretty productive for you. They could be pretty successful for you. I love T as well. And yes, obviously his injury concerns is definitely a thing. But it's also an easier position to find. Pass rusher is not. Pass rusher is definitely one of those situations where it's hard to get a good one. It's hard to get anyone close to Trey Henderickson. I mean, you might get an average one. You might have a guy that ends up being average and decent, and you might, go in free agency and spend way too much money, and the guy just doesn't work out. You might draft a pass rusher and it doesn't work out. You're not going to get another Trey Henderickson on the free agency in the draft. And even if you're like, well, what if we use our 1st-round pick? This upcoming draft is a lot of good pass rushers. 1, they could be a bust. And 2, even if they're not a bust, it takes time to develop them. And clearly, we have shown with our defense so far, we're not good at developing anyone. So the question is in the question. You're keeping Trey because 1, he's cheaper, and 2, he's a position that is hard to replace. I know, again, I love T, I do, but you don't really, this isn't even a question. T's going to cost more money. He does have injury concerns, that's true, and he's also a position that's easier to replace in the NFL. Wide receiver is not a position that's impossible to replace. It's just, it is what it is. You got Jamar Chase on one side, And on the other side, what? You got Yoshi. He can still be successful. He's not the greatest receiver, but he can still be successful. You got Jermaine Burton. You got other receivers you can draft or pick up. It's not the craziest concept in the world. Outside of that, Trey is on another year contract, T, obviously, his contract's up. He's on a franchise tag, but we have Trey for another year no matter what, because he's on the contract for it. And we know that I don't think T would sit out in any way, but we know Trey has made very vocal that he's not going to sit out no matter what. He has said last training camp that no matter what the situation is, he separates business and play. And he said that it wouldn't be right for his teammates if he doesn't go and practice, go to training camp, go to preseason, and do all that stuff. It wouldn't be right for him not to do it. T has done the exact same thing. He hasn't said that, but he has shown that he will also do the same thing as Trey. The difference is he didn't say it. So I don't know if that's, again, I know for a fact that that is Trey's principle. I don't know if it's T. I mean, I hope it is, but we never know. I know for a fact Trey is not going to sit out because of a contract. I don't know if T would or not. He hasn't done it yet, but you never know. He also has Deshaun Watson's agent, which that's always, up in the air, whether or not I don't trust Deshaun Watson's agent, but that's also a factor. Again, it's a really big nothing burger. Who do you want, a premier pass rusher or a wide receiver? At the end of the day, if you could get both, you keep both. But if you can't, you're going with Trey. It is what it is. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. See you guys next one. Peace.